Hey guys, Billy Bosco from Realistically Fit. I'm coming at you today from Heat Bootcamp on South Austin. And today I want to talk about core training. Now, before I even get into how to work your core, it's important to note that if you want to see your core, the biggest factor is always going to be your diet. You need to be below that 15% body fat range to start seeing your core. Once you get below that 10% body fat range, a six-pack is going to shine. Now, to actually engage the core, we need to focus on the three main muscles that makes up it. We have the rectus abdominis that comes from the top down. To work that one, since the fibers run from the top down, you get to work it by flexion. That could be either from the top or it could be from the bottom up. So I'll show you guys two ways to do that one. We also have the external obliques. They run diagonal down. So to engage those muscles, we need some kind of rotational movement. So I'll give you guys two moves for that as well. The last major core muscle is the transverse abdominals that run from the side here. For those, the most important thing you have to focus on is breathing. It acts as like a weight belt around you, so it keeps the six-pack locked in there. So every time you contract, you squeeze that core, you're engaging those transverse abdominals. So let me show you guys the three core muscles to hit, and I'll show you guys two moves to hit each one. So move number one for our rectus abdominis is going to be a simple crunch. We're going to crunch in two different ways. I'm going to show you one crunch from the front, top down, and one crunch from the bottom, coming up. So I got a stability ball because the best way to engage the core is you need to add some kind of extension. If you're doing a crunch from the ground, you can't extend the core, you can't stretch it out more, so you can't contract it as much. So I get the ball, put your lower back on the front of the ball. You're going to inhale, reach all the way back, get that stretching, exhale, crunch all the way up. Inhale, reach all the way back. Exhale, squeeze that core as hard as you can, force all the air out of your lungs. That'll help you engage those transverse abdominals as well. So inhale, reach, exhale, crunch. Now because your core is like a muscle like everything else, the best way you can work it to build that muscle is to incorporate some weights. So I would try it on the ball first, and then when that becomes too easy for you, you're not getting sore enough, get a weight, add that flexion or extension, exhale, drive that weight up. Inhale, reach, exhale, drive up. Start with the ball. Once it gets too easy, incorporate some weights, find a way to keep breaking the muscle down. Starting out, I would go for time, 30 seconds, 4 sets, not too bad. Once you get to the heavier weight, start including some reps, 12 to 15 reps, just like it's a regular muscle. So that is the first move for our rectus abdominis. So for our second core move for the rectus abdominis, we need to add deflection, but we're coming from the top or bottom to the up now. So for this, I always like to have something to anchor me down so I can stay put on the ground. You're gonna lay back. You're gonna grab whatever's behind you, and you're gonna lift the ground up, lift, press, and then slowly come down, squeezing the core the whole way. Lift, press straight up. As you press up, squeeze that core as hard as you can, and then fight it the whole way down as slow as you can. Inhale, exhale, slowly come down, just like so. That one, for starters, try to just lifting legs up and down. As it gets too easy, you're not getting sore anymore, press the button there, incorporate that slow lower down. That'll be adding resistance because your legs are a lot of weight. So same thing guys, when you're first doing this, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, once it gets too easy, incorporate the leg lowers down and then do it for reps, 12 to 15 reps. You can easily make it harder too by holding a weight. Give it a shot guys, that is my favorite core move overall. So that's the second way to work the rectus abdominis. So now we're on to our external obliques. And because the fibers run diagonal down, we need to incorporate some kind of rotational move to work them. So we have Russian twists. I have a weight here to make it harder, but for starters, just do body weight. Legs are off the ground. Those shoulder blades, make sure they're pulled back so we can get that full range of motion. If we're all closed in, we're not getting that full rotation. So pull those shoulder blades back, twist all the way down to the ground, tap the ground, squeeze in the core every time you get to one side. Squeeze, inhale, squeeze as hard as you can. Now, if you're using a weight, don't touch the ground. I want you to get as close to the ground as you can and squeeze that core to act as a brake. Come back up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Stopping the weight from hitting the ground is going to force your core to act as hard as it possibly can to stop from hitting the ground. So that is your first move for your external obliques. So the second way, and my favorite way to work the external obliques, is with a wood chopper. Now I like the wood choppers because the cable keeps the resistance constant through the whole way. So you can really exaggerate that stretch back. The more you stretch the core out, the more you can contract it. So big stretch, and you chop straight down, follow through. Almost like a baseball swing, finishing right down through. Moderate weight here, we're not trying to muscle our way through it. I like to take my feet and turn them slightly away from the machine. That way it already starts that stretch in the grip. Hands are shoulder length distance apart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, drive down, squeeze that core and finish. Inhale, reach. Exhale, drive down, finish, squeeze that core. Inhale, slow reach. Exhale, drive down. A good way to cue this one, this arm stays straight. This arm, you're bending and driving through. So this arm stays straight all the way through. The back arm comes down and then pushes through. As long as you finish right here, squeezing that core, that's what we look for. 30, 45 seconds if you're just starting out. Once it gets heavier, you're not getting as sore as much. Up the weight, go for that rep range 12 to 15 each side, rest in between. That is the second way to work your external obliques. So the last muscle to hit are the transverse abdominals. Now, like I said, that is a weight belt around your body. So they're always activated when you're tucking that core in and squeezing it together. So my favorite way to incorporate it are with planks. Planks, you're holding the plank the entire time, you're just focusing on keeping the core tucked and keeping that core active. It's the perfect way to engage that transverse abdominal. So, what I like to do is start with a side plank. Side plank it out. Now make sure that elbow is right below that shoulder. If it's in front like so, it's going to put uneven pressure into that shoulder joint, and we want to keep it safe. So make sure it's right below. You're going to hold the plank right here and just squeeze that core as hard as you can. If you want to make it harder, you can dip the hip down and drive it up. Dip the hip down, drive it up. If you start burning out, you can drop the knees, but keep that hip off the ground. That way you're still engaging that core. I like to hold one side 30 seconds to a minute, then I come around to a regular plank. And this is where you can really engage your transverse abdominals. You're going to inhale, push back into a down dog, and you're going to exhale, drop into a low plank. And as you drop down, I want you to squeeze that core as hard as you can. Exhale all the air out of your lungs. Inhale, push back. Exhale, drop down, squeeze the core as hard as you can. 30 seconds to a minute. Flip over. Same thing on the other side. So, all in all, that one can range from 1 minute and 30 seconds to 3 minutes of non-stop core. Rest in between, do it for 4 sets. It's going to engage the transverse abdominals. It's going to burn like hell. There's plenty of ways to make that one harder, but that is the best way to engage it. So there you guys have it. Those are the 3 muscles to hit for core. Those are 6 different ways to do it. Now, like I said, diet is the biggest factor, but it doesn't hurt to work them out. Now, if your core is a little flat and you want it to be more bold and pop out, more noticeable, that's when you need to incorporate the weight training once you get below a certain body fat percent. The core is just like a regular muscle. You need to incorporate weights to make it stronger, make it bigger, tell it to grow. So guys, give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Let me know when you get that 6-pack, and have a good day and make good choices.